Well, let's revisit our story in Sudan, where residents in the Western Darfur city of Geneina are fleeing the area. Well, this comes after militiamen attacked the area on Sunday, leaving at least 83 people dead and about 160 others injured. Well, let's cross over now to Dr. Andrew Yaw Tchie, a senior fellow at the Norwegian Institute of International Affairs, for more on what is happening in Darfur. He's joining us via Zoom. Dr. Tchie, thank you for joining us on Africa Live. How serious, first off, is the situation in Darfur?
Thank you very much for having me, Beatrice. And as you did mention, there are 83 people who have died and over 160 that we know of who have been injured during this situation. Now, the situation is quite serious if you think about it in comparison to previous, more recent attacks or events that have taken place, or violence, if that's a better way of putting it. But what is also interesting about this one is that it seems to be escalating between, as many have said, the Arab communities and non-Arab tribes in the Western Darfur area. Now, IDP camp violence is nothing new. This has been a flashpoint in the past, but this is the more significant numbers have been killed this time around since the UN departed or wound up its mission and transformed itself into a political mission over the last 2 weeks. So it is quite significant because the government is responsible now for the protection of civilians. And what it does show is that if the government doesn't get a grip of the situation and the local government or local governor doesn't get a grip, this situation could continue to escalate into more violence, which is not what we want to see in Sudan at the moment.
So the government is responsible for the safety of civilians at the moment, but what role is the withdrawal of all UNAMID personnel playing in what is happening now?
Well, that mission is wound down. It's wound down 2 years ago after 13 years. So, in sense of protection of the civilians as it goes, this is now down to the government and the local governor or governorships to be able to deal with this situation. So, really, the new mission, which is the United Nations Integrated Transitional Assistance Mission in Sudan, is really about supporting the political process that is in Sudan. So, this situation is at the feet of the government to deal with. And so really, if the government doesn't get a grip and put in place the right resources, the right security personnel, and I do sort of want to emphasize the right security personnel is important given the history of the various different Janjaweed groups and the RSF in the area, it will continue to go on. But importantly, beyond that, there needs to be a way of bringing these communities together that they can foster dialogue and have better ways of being able to deal with this situation, because this has been a problem even when UNAMID was there before.
So this problem, the conflict in Darfur, has been ongoing since around 2003. How can this problem be resolved?
Well, I think there are a few things. As you said, it has been going on for a while. There needs to be better strategic oversight and planning by the government, particularly the security forces, but also the political transitional government when it comes to dealing with the situation. At the local level and the community-based level, there needs to be the capacity for community leaders and elders to bring the different IDP groups together and the Arab communities together to have a dialogue and to foster reconciliation and better understanding of one another. There needs to be a serious discussion about the protection of civilians mandate that is in place by the Sudanese government. What is its plan? How long is this plan going to be put in place? What are the resources? What capacity does the government have or lack? And what support does it need, maybe from international donors to be able to support some of the work that it's doing? But as I said earlier, what is crucial is that the government and the local governance will need a long-term plan. This needs to be driven by the local authorities to be able to deal and resolve the issues. And if you're not able to do that, then you're not going to be able to diffuse long-term violence, but also you won't be able to diffuse the possibility of other outbursts of violence between communities in the future.
All right, Dr. Andrew Tchie joining us there via Zoom with that update on Sudan's Darfur area.